Hey everybody! The other day I was chatting with a fellow at work and we were talking about canned bread, specifically date nut bread, which he was sort of lamenting that he couldn't find anymore. So I told him I would take a shot at whipping him up a batch of canned date nut bread, and that's exactly what we're going to do here today. So let's get started. We are going to start this date nut bread with a 1/4 cup of very soft butter. That looks soft enough. To the butter, we're going to add 3/4 cup of loosely packed brown sugar, a teaspoon of baking soda, and 3/4 teaspoon of salt. I will put a link to this recipe in the description. To that, we're going to add, and this I thought was pretty cool, we're going to add a cup of hot black coffee. And that's going to melt that butter and everything together very nicely. We just want to stir this until that butter is all melted. Now we're going to stir in 2 cups of roughly chopped dates. Those aren't the fancy medjool dates, and you could use those if you like. These are just some plain Jane dates. Now, we're going to let this cool for 15 minutes before adding in the dry ingredients. In the meantime, I'm going to preheat my oven to 325 degrees. Now that the mixture's all cooled, I'll go ahead and mix in an egg, 1 large egg. Then I'm going to put in my flour, 1 3/4 cup flour. I also have 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder in here. I also put in a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Flour is mostly incorporated. I'll put in a cup of chopped nuts. These are walnuts. Pecans would be really great in here too. Alright, we don't need to just beat the crud out of this. Just get everything mixed well and we're going to be good to go. Now we're going to fill up the jars, and you can use a canning funnel for this. But I really like the bag piping technique. So I'm going to get all my mixture in this bag, clip off the corner, and then fill up my jars. This recipe will make 4 pint-sized loaves. And I want to get these jars ready. I have sterilized them, I boiled them, and now they've cooled off a little, and I'm going to grease the inside of these. You could use a little cooking spray. Shortening I like even better, but since I'm a hunter-gatherer, I'm going to use some rendered bear fat that I just happen to have lying around. Just get in there. I've got kind of a big hand for this, but it'll work. Get it all lubed up there. I like to use the shortening or the bear fat like this because I can really see where it's hitting the inside of the glass. Make sure I get really good coverage. That little crease in the bottom is a little tough for me to hit. That looks pretty good. And then I do want to wipe the very rim off with a clean cloth so that our lids seat nicely. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get these ready, and we'll fill them up. Alright, I'm just going to snip off a little bit of that bag. Now, I can squeeze it into the jars whilst keeping the rim of the jar clean. And each of these we want to fill just to halfway, because this is going to puff up a lot. Oh my. Oh, it's not pretty. Not pretty at all. That'll look good. Now I want to give those a tap. Get them to settle on the bottom. These are right around halfway full. And hopefully those will rise up and fill these just right to just under the threads there. So these I will place on some sort of sheet so they are stable. I'm going to pop these into a 325 degree oven for about 50 minutes. I'll check them at 45 with a bamboo skewer. I'll stick it through the middle, and if it comes out clean, they're done. Well, these will take somewhere between 45 minutes and 55 minutes at 325 degrees. 45 minutes in, I just gave them the test with the skewer. As you can see, it is not coming out clean, so I'm going to give those another 10 minutes and that should be good. Okay, this last bit is a little time sensitive. The jars are just about ready to come out of the oven, so I want to be all set up with sterilized lids and rings that I can put on there while the jars are still really hot, and that way that'll create the vacuum that'll seal them up nicely. So I have my lids in a pot of simmering water all ready to go, and my rings ready to go. And now I'll pull the jars out of the oven and we'll get it all together. There we go. They didn't come all the way up to the top, so I could have put a little bit more batter in there. That's pretty good. We'll do one final quick test. And that is nice and clean compared to the one from a few minutes ago. Alright, everything's hot, and that's key to get these to seat. I got my hot lid, shake off the extra water, put it on there. Just go ahead and get all of them on there. Oh, that last one. Fussy. Okay, I shook off the excess water. We don't want water inside. Now, don't forget that these are really hot. So grab on with a towel or something to protect you and put that on just finger tight. And that is it. Now we're going to let these cool. That should pressurize the inside of these jars, and we'll come back and try it. The jars have all cooled down. I can tell by pushing on the tops that they've sealed well. So let's open one of these up and see how we did. Oh yeah, that was good. Like I said, I could have put a little more of the batter in here, but it looks pretty good and it should slide out easily. Fingers crossed. Nice. That's how we look on the inside. I can tell now it's very moist. What could make that better? Then some nice soft butter. That is really good. It's nice and moist, and that coffee kind of adds a depth of flavor that's unique in this recipe. You can do this with banana bread or fruit cakes or a lot of different quick breads. It's just a fun technique, and the jars, you can decorate them and make a nice gift for the holidays. I will not make any claim as to how long you can keep these on the shelf. There's a lot of different information out there, and you can just believe what you want to believe on that one. So there you have it, canned bread. Thanks for watching.